And here we are for round 5 of the Zendikar Unified Pauper Seal League, and I've come full circle. I am going back to the blue-white deck, and the build is a little different, so we'll go over it. The mana is very similar. I probably should be playing maybe one more mountain and one less island, because I do only have 5 blue cards and 4 red cards. But yeah, that's probably a little bit of a misbuild there. But I do want my blue on turn 2. And things like Holdout Settlement only get better if I have creatures in play, so Halimar Wavewatch and Welcome Turn are really the only ones for it. I cut things like Core Castigator because they just typically don't get in for any damage unless you play them turn 2. Evasion is just so much better, so I like Welcome Turn more. The Spreading Seas combo with Halimar Wavewatch is great. Spreading Seas can be found with Totem Guide Heartbeast, but that was the last cut that I made. I don't think I need to tutor for it because the 2/5 for 5 is just too bad of a card on its own, that if I already draw my Spreading Seas and the Guardian Zendikar, then it doesn't really do anything. But I do like the walls. I do like Fortified Rampart, Guardian Zendikar, Vent Sentinel, because that creates an unblockable clock, and they just block really well. Whether you're playing against an aggro deck or even a control deck, they typically block most things decently well. Thunglair Invoker, best card. I do like the Scythe Masters because they give me a chance to be an aggressive start, and it lets all my removal spells, you know, potentially 2-for-1 them if they go for double blocks or something like that. I do like the Tar Snare. I just need to be able to kill utility creatures, and removal is very good in being able to do that. The Griffins have been solid, and then the 5-drops. I think Battle Herda stops the most things from attacking and is really good with my instant speed removal again. Iona's Judgment's great, and I think the Banisher gets the nod over the Totem Guide Heartbeast just because bouncing a creature, especially one that is a token or one that has +1/+1 counters on it or something, or just it just really helps set the tempo back in my favor. And then Waving Elemental I think is just the best threat in my deck. It can be tough to kill. I would say it's the second best creature, but Thunglair Invoker doesn't necessarily win the game that fast on its own. You kind of need a lot of creatures in play still to clock them quickly. So I've been impressed with Wavewing, Halimar Wavewatch, Banisher. So I think the blue splash is worth it. The mana is a little worse, but that's what I'm deciding to go with on my last game here. So this is the last one for the week. So let's check it out. Let's see. So we roll a 5, they roll a 2. I believe we choose to draw first again since we're the 4-color deck. We don't really care about being aggressive, although this hand looks like it would be fine on the play, but we choose the draw. Fertile Thicket, very good land. Finds the plains, okay. We draw a 2-drop, which basically, if I didn't draw a 2-drop, I would have played an untapped land here. Basically in the hopes of drawing 1 untapped land in the next 2 turns, so I could play Scythe Master and then turn 4 Sandstone Bridge, make it attack as a 4/2, and then another Scythe Master. But I want to play this Fortified Rampart potentially, so I'm just going to play the tap land now. He plays a 2/1 Fear every time he drops a land. I draw Sentinel, which is good. Nice little wall. So I'll play my thing. Play my wall out there. And he makes it unblockability. And plays a 2/2. Okay. Play my 3/1, no big deal. Attacks with both. It's a little odd to me. It makes me feel like he's got a way to kill my wall. But I oblige. I'm not going to take damage. He's got Complete Disregard, which is odd. His creature doesn't have Trample. So he just missed 2 points of damage, because if he Complete Disregards, 4, right, then it forces me to either take the 2 or trade with the Scythe Master, which I do not want to do since my creature is just a lot better than his right now. So I draw that land, and I just decide I can play the Vent Sentinel or another Scythe Master. I'd rather play the Scythe Master because it allows me to attack, and if he attacks into my Vent Sentinel anyway, then or plays a removal spell for it, it's going to be bad for me. So turns out he has Tomb Hex. Alright, so he would have killed my Vent Sentinel anyway. I would have blocked, and then he would have made it a 0-2, and then it would have died to his 2-2. So here is an interesting play. I'm probably just going to play the Vent Sentinel now. He's used 2 premium removal spells, so just attacks anyway, so I'm like, alright. This one doesn't have Intimidate, so I'm obliged to block it. And I call his bluff, and he doesn't have anything, so I just get to kill a creature for free. His hand must be really bad, but he's been missing land drops, so I don't know what he could possibly have. So I get to attack with impunity here, and just bounce his 2-2. That's pretty good. Basically played Clutch of Currents there, except it only cost 5 mana instead of 6 mana. To have the untapped 3-3 in play. Alright, so somehow, because I'm at 10 life, maybe that's why he made the aggressive attack. He wanted to make a 4-2 instead of a 2-1, so I put my Prophetic Prism. Finds the Sandstone Bridge, which I'm definitely going to play because I want to attack this turn. It puts me on the offensive. So I beat with both my creatures. I'm hoping that he makes some sort of double block because he's tapped out, and my Tar Snare is going to blow him out of the water if he does. But that's all he chooses to block with, and I'm totally fine with that. So he goes down to 7 after taking 4. And here he plays a 5/4 Trample Vigilant. So it's an ally, and with my hand right now, it would make, if this comes into play, his Recluse would become a 3/3, so I can just kill that with Tar Snare immediately. Let it come into play. Cast Iona's Judgment on it. Play my Mountain. Hit him for 3, and then I have Vent Sentinel to ping him end a turn. And he's got his own Iona's Judgment. Okay. So looks like my Vent Sentinel is going to do some work here. I draw a land, worst possible draw. Okay. He attacks here. My only way to win the game is I basically have a 2-turn clock on him because I can do this end of turn, my turn, and then my turn again, so it's 2 turns technically. And in 2 turns he can only hit me down to 6 with this creature, so I'm obliged to play around things like Puncturing Light. And he doesn't play a creature, so it makes me feel even that much more safe. And let's see, end of turn he plays Join the Ranks. Okay. So he attacks with all again. It's only 4 damage. He could have had a pump spell there to kill me, but I think he would have probably played it earlier at some other point if he had one from earlier. So I just make the play of hoping he doesn't have any life gain cards because I just drew all land. So yeah, I was on the draw, so I drew 1 extra card than him with Prophetic Prism, and I drew 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lands in my 17 land deck, and he drew 4, 5, 6. And somehow I won that game casting very few spells compared to the amount of spells that he cast. So yeah, I feel pretty lucky to have won that game because I probably wasn't going to win if anything different could have happened there. So I feel pretty good. So here, we side in Shrivel and take out our 3/1s because he has the Join the Ranks and the 2/1 Intimidate guy. I keep this hand. It's a little bad, but it just needs Prophetic Prism. And when I was playing the game, I actually did call it. I said Prophetic Prism off the top one time. He got it. Alright, this time he's got a 2-2 on the play, which is quite annoying. Holdout Settlement's not the worst, but he's got Lifespring Druid, okay. Okay, so my decision here, I would like you to make the play here first. To give you the options, we can cast Shrivel to kill Lifespring Druid. We can cast Heat Ray to kill either creature. We can cast Guardian Zendikon to stop him from being able to attack unless he has Complete Disregard as a removal spell, which would be bad for us, but that's one card out of, 35 left. We could Sheer Drop his 2-2, or we could Touch of the Void either of his creatures. So we have a lot of options this turn. So I'll let you pause and think about the play here. And you can unpause now, and I'll go through it. So Shrivel, I want to get more value, rather than just killing this Lifespring Druid. Heat Ray, I want to be able to kill big creatures. Guardian Zendikon can't block if I play it this turn. Sheer Drop, I want to get more value. And Touch of the Void is going to save me the most damage by killing something here. So now I'm pretty much easily considered I'm playing Touch of the Void. Which creature do you kill? Well, if I kill the Lifespring Druid, then the Shrivel's going to get no value. And I'm hoping he'll just play like Join the Ranks or 2-1 or whatever. So I think my play is to Touch of the Void, the Oran Reef guy. It all makes logical sense, right? Like, I kind of walked us through that, right? That's not good. I did know he had Core Sanctifiers. And now Prophetic Prism's dead. Now I can't cast, like, anything in my hand. Okay, so the only play I have now is really simple. Play Guardian Zendikon. Hope that it doesn't die so that I can tap it for mana with Holdout Settlement in order to make some other colored mana. But it's taking a land away, so it's basically like turning my land into an Unknown Shores. He attacks with both. Now, this is a fishy attack because I could kill his Lifespring Druid. In retrospect, I should not block here. Just take the 4. But I'm like, whatever. And of course I get punished. He has Searing Light. So I just have to play the Sheer Drop here, otherwise I'm going to take 1,000,000 damage. And again, I don't kill the Lifespring Druid because I want to get value out of this Shrivel. But he top decks a land, and wouldn't you know it, plays a 5-4. Okay. Okay, I needed to top deck, not Brute Strength there. I put Brute Strength in because he has Complete Disregard, and now I know he has Searing Light. Basically, it's just like a counter spell plus a huge trick. It's actually very good against him. But as you can see, I think I did sideboard in another mountain to deal with putting more red cards in. Again, Belligerent Whiptail is exactly there to be able to kill this 5-4 or attack past it. But I can't play a single card in my hand. I can play a Griffin. It's not going to do anything. It just dies immediately. And I'm dead. So I paused on that key turn on what would you do, Touch of the Void or not, because that was the most important decision in the entire game. Other than the mulligan decision, I could have mulliganed, but I mean, I drew the best card in that situation, Prophetic Prism. And he eventually did draw 2 planes here, so we could have kicked with Core Sanctifiers. But I potentially could have slowed him down a lot by just shriveling immediately and killing this Lifespring Druid or something. So this is a good little self-analysis and something that I see myself doing a lot of times, and especially in very important games. I noticed that I sideboarded in a card like Shrivel and I want to get like a 2-for-1 for it, and so I will not cast it. because it's not how I imagined the card would play out. I imagined the card being a blowout versus him, right? And so it influences my judgment on when I decide to play it. Hence, I get punished more. Like, I tend to not kill a creature when I should, or I try to, like, if I have Planar Outburst in hand and sealed or something, I wait for them to play one more creature before I cast it or something, things like that. And then it turns out they have, like, Resolute Blade Master, and they just give all their team double strike and then kill me for lethal. And it's like, oh, should have just cleared your board, and I would have been in a much better position. Even though it's not like it doesn't cripple the opponent, but it just puts you in a position where dying is very, very unlikely to happen right away. And so I tend to do that. I tend to, like, flirt with that line a little bit too much, and it gets me in trouble. And I think I just need to see that more and make tighter plays, because from what I saw game 1, I cast like 5 less spells than him, and my spells are just way more powerful. So I should not mind if the game goes late. I just should try to kill all of his guys. On to game 3. See if we learned anything. So I think I choose to be on the play this time, because I want to beat him down. And I do have the Prism again, and I have 2 lands, and I have my 3-drop that likes to attack, so I figure this is worth keeping on the play. So I draw Rampart, which is, again, a little weird, but it should stop him from attacking, so I'm going to play this Prophetic Prism. And I draw Mountain, which is perfect. He plays Survivalist, okay, slightly annoying that he's had a 2-drop every single game. But I play my Scythe Master. And he plays Tomb Hex, kill it immediately. And I take 2. Okay, Island was pretty much a great draw. I'm fine playing this Courier Griffin. I would be happy to not draw a land for the rest of the game. He plays Bojuka Bog. Or Bojuka Brigand. I haven't seen this card yet, but that is really bad for me. And another 2-mana ally, so he just went 2-drop, 3-drop removal, 2 2-drops on turn 4, both allies with perfect mana. Ugh. So now I'm getting Bash for 4. Okay. So now, pause here for a second, see what play you would make. Okay, you can unpause, and I'll go through the lines. Courier Griffin is just not the right play because it's mana inefficient. Next turn, if I hit a land, I can play Courier Griffin plus Fortified Rampart, so I want to do that. So I'm going to be playing Battle Herda or Serac Banisher. If I play the Banisher, I can only tap this 4/4. He would recast it, and this thing would be a 4/4. And then when it attacks, I could double block. And the problem is, if he has Complete Disregard or Searing Light, then he gets a 2-for-1. So I think I want it to stay a 3/3 for now. And so I should play Battle Herda because he has to have something anyway. And if he plays another ally this turn and attacks, with a 5/5 and a 4/4, I could double block. If, like, let's say he plays a 5/4, I could double block his 5/5 and at least just, like, trade 1-for-1 with his Survivalist here. So he does play a land, but he doesn't play an ally, and he attacks with both. Okay, pause here and tell me how you would block. Okay, unpause. Let's think about this. The main thing that we have to worry about now is that he's got 5 open mana, we have no open mana, and he's got a 3/3 attacking into a 3/3 first strike. So that's where the alarm bell should be going off. So if I block Battle Herda onto his 3/3, what could he have to punish me? We've seen Complete Disregard. He would have already cast it, obviously. Tomb Hex he's already used. Searing Light would not do it because it can't be targeted. So the only other card that we've seen is Join the Ranks. And Join the Ranks would make it a 5/5. Right? So, in that sense here, if we double block, let's say he has Join the Ranks, he would make it a 5/5. We could double block here, deal 5 damage to it, and he'd only be able to kill one of our guys. And then he has this 6/6, but that's fine because we bounce it next turn. Let's say he has Searing Light and we double block. Well, he can Searing Light the 2/3, but then our first strike eats his guy. And then he could have another pump spell or something to blow us out further, but that's fine. So if we block with just Battle Herda here, we get blown out by Join the Ranks. If we block with both, we get blown out by Searing Light plus a pump spell, but he doesn't have enough for Searing Light and Join the Ranks, which is key. And so, knowing that he has those cards, the correct block, I believe, is to double block Courier Griffin and Battle Herda onto the 3/3. And let's see what block I make. Oops. That's the wrong block. When this play was happening in real life, again, when was this? Yeah, I was at on a lunch break at my work or something, and I was just distracted. And I made this play in about 2 seconds. I'm like, oh, this is an easy block. He can't Searing Light my guy, I'm gonna block. And here's the thing, he made a really bad chump attack with his 2/1 Intimidate guy game 1, and so I'm just conditioned to believe that he makes bad attacks. But if we think back about game 1, it wasn't necessarily a bad attack. It got me down to 10. There was a chance that I wouldn't block in fear of a trick, and it made his 2-mana guy a 4/2 instead of a 2/1, which he really wanted. So it wasn't the worst attack. I just thought it was pretty bad because it killed basically a potentially unblockable creature for him, which I would value that creature too highly to just throw it away. So in light of all those thoughts, I make the worst possible block here. It is incredibly safe to just block with this Courier Griffin and double block because it protects against Join the Ranks like we talked about. And if it dies to Searing, Light or whatever, who cares? We have another Courier Griffin that could die to it, and a Fortified Rampart that could die to it. Who cares? Like, we don't care about Searing Light here. We hope he plays Searing Light here because that means we're eating one of his creatures and then we're bouncing his other one, and then we are in a commanding position. So, what do you think he has in hand? Yeah, of course he has Join the Ranks. So, basically raise the alarm, 2 of your creatures get +2/+2 counters. He eats my guy, takes 6 damage. I draw a land, which would be fine, except I don't really need it. I get to bounce his 6/6, which I have to do. The problem is he can just replay it, and now he has this 5/5 that should be dead. My Battle Herda should also still be dead, but this thing should be dead. I just played incorrectly. So now he has this 6/6, which I cannot double block. And he just bashes with everything, so I have to just eat his 1/1s. And turns out he has Swell of Growth. So I don't know if he had it in hand at the same exact time that he cast Join the Ranks. But if I did make the double block, he could have just played Swell of Growth, potentially, in addition to some other trick, like he could still have Searing Light in hand. But he decides to play it on his 1/1 to trade with my 3/3. And I'm like, whatever, I can't possibly win no matter what I do, so. Draw Gone Glare Evoker, so with 6 mana I just have to play 2 guys out here, which are everything is chump blocking basically. He plays Earthen Arms, he's just playing awful cards. Like, these cards are so bad. But he has a stranglehold on me because I made the worst play imaginable. So I just chump block and go to 2. And he has another play and another creature, so yikes. Draw Heat Ray, but Heat Ray can't even kill his 6/6. And so I just have to play Dawnglare Invoker, hope he doesn't attack for 2 turns. Not likely to happen. He sends with everything. I have block, block, block. Kill his guy. So it's double chump and a bounce. And he's got more gas, and I do not have any more gas. So yeah, really, really frustrating way to lose because I played hastily. I played awful game 2, and I played awful this game. And you could say I didn't get punished for bad keeps, because I think my keeps were both a little bit loose, but my deck has good mana fixing, and I can draw out of it quite easily. That's a risk I'm willing to take. But I also just had 2 pivotal decisions and 2 pivotal turns on the block this turn and what to do on turn 3, the other game, which creature to kill. So to me, it's pretty clear I should have just cast Shrivel in the other game, kill the Lifespring Druid. That would have bought me some time. It would have gotten a card out of my hand that I couldn't cast, otherwise without the Prism. So even if the Prism dies the next turn because he top decks of planes, then it's whatever, I can still cast something else. And the Touch of the Void can still be online if I just have Holdout Settlement. But this one was more egregious. I knew exactly all the tricks he had in his deck, and it just didn't come up. So my decision making needs to improve if I plan on winning. So I went 2-3 week 3 after going 4-1 week 1 and 4-1 week 2. So I'm no longer in the lead. I'm tied with a bunch of people for 2nd place or something now, which is a little disappointing because if I would have won this match, I would have at least been in 1st place still. And this is definitely a winnable match. The one trend that I'm noting right now, again going back to Polyjack's question of the week, is what do you see strategy-wise for the packs and how they're breaking out. My strategy, again, Rise of Eldrazi and Battle for Zendikar, get Evolving Wilds, Prophetic Prisms, and then hopefully get Ulamog's Crushers and card advantage spells and removal and stuff like that. Seems really good for sealed, as in week 1 when you have 7 packs. But when 7 packs goes to 12 packs, it's like playing team sealed, and these decks end up better than draft decks by the end of it. It's so many cards, right? It's 120 cards versus 70 cards. So by the end of it, the best decks should be either 2-colored draft decks, basically, or 3-color decks with perfect fixing and synergy. So I think most of the good decks I've seen out there are some sort of Abzan deck, like green, white, black, because in Zendikar you have allies, and the best synergy deck is just all allies. You just get +1/+1 counters for every ally that you make. You can gain 2 life, you can just have powerful creatures that stand alone on their own, that are perfectly reasonable on their own, and then ones that just get bigger the more that you cast them together. So so I think a viable strategy for this format, if you had played it before and if I played it again, I think I would change my strategy. I think I would pick I think I would avoid Rise of Eldrazi and just pick the packs with the most ally synergies. So the allies I think are the strongest in Oath of the Gatewatch for sure. And then Battle for Zendikar has a lot of them that pump power and toughness, puzzle encounters. So just kind of go back and forth between like Oath and Zendikar, and then for the initial week when you get 7 packs, and the week after that you can pick you know, doesn't matter, you can pick World Wake or you can pick BFC, but then just switch back and forth between Oath and Zendikar, Oath and Zendikar, and just get as many allies as possible, and you'll get some good removal spells along the way too. So yeah, so that's my take after week 3, hoping to be able to salvage something for the last 2 weeks. I'm choosing Battle for Zendikar for this week, and then I'm going to choose Rise of Eldrazi again for week 5. Really, one time just hoping for like a Ruin Processor. Ruin Processor, another Complete Disregard, another Touch of the Void would be all welcome additions. Yeah. Yeah, another Wall. I don't know. We'll see. I like trying to make this deck better, but I actually enjoyed trying to mix it up, and I played different versions in my pool this week, so that was quite fun. So yeah, stay tuned for more matches next week, and for, if I posted after this, a little deck doctor with Jay Mason, which is an interesting pool to go over. And again, please, if you especially if you re-roll your pool because you think it's really bad, definitely send me a .txt text file to thedrapery@gmail.com if you want me to do a deck doctor video for it. Those are really fun, and again, I'm not doing it for hopefully some of the benefit of people watching, trying to learn how I think when I build sealed pools, but I'm doing it for my own edification as well, because I need to practice sealed. Don't really matter what practice it is right now. It's about Shadows of over Innistrad pre-release time, and I'm going to be going to GP Albuquerque, so I'm going to be jamming that format like crazy and trying to know the ins and outs of it, so that I can hopefully make a good run at that GP. I've made day 2 of the last 2 limited GPs that I've played in, but haven't quite gotten there. Looking to look in the top 8. I think if I do well on day 1, I just need a good day 1. If I can ever, I've never had a good day 1. I've never gotten better than 6-3 or 6-2-1 on day 1. I guess I got 7-2 once, but if I could go 8-1 or 9-0, that would be sick, because I'm very confident in draft compared to sealed. But yeah, so stay tuned for updates about that as well, if you care about Shadows over Innistrad Limited too. Alright, so thanks for watching.